What's up, lads? The addictive RKGK needed more polish. And I'm not saying about the Poland, I'm saying about the polishing. So, for sure, it's here to fill the void in my heart left by closure of the Tango Gameworks. Well, all of us remember Hi-Fi, and Hi-Fi was one of the games in 2023 that I really liked. So getting another game with the similar vibes is made my mood. Yeah, it made my mood. So I'm basing the comparison of little more than both games featuring a protagonist with a brood to taking the man or with the power of musics. Besides, there is not much else in common. RKGK does still unshamedly wear its influence on the sleeve though. In fact, there is a clear love of classic Sega games here. The movement-based platforming and score system evoke much of the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise, while the emphasis of graffiti brings to mind Jet Set Radio. All this mixed with a sprinkle of Splatoon paint, splatter, and Mirror's Edge Parktown throughout into it. The good news is I love all the things, so we are off to great start. RKGK starts Valah, a graffiti artist living in unmade cyberpunk dystopia. After a dictator named Mr. Baft covered with the city in personally draining scenes, Valah vows for fight back. Her solution: tag all the screens, all bring color back and to the people. While she, aided by her crew, that titular Rakugaki, who provides support from the hideout. It's a very simple premise, and in fact so simple you barely need to pay attention to the story. It is all excuse plot to get you out there looking cool, and literally painting the town red is linear 3D platformer but built around fluid movement. As Valah, you jump, dash, and skate around the city, connecting coins, painting screens, and beating up the robots. Each level acts its own little playing ground for you to chain moves together. You be skating, grinding, jumping, dashing, and gliding all over the place with the level design encouraging ways to move seamlessly between these actions. Each level drops subtle hints on where you can bypass parts of the geometry to speed up your run. When you start getting into the flow of all it, you'll find yourself barely touching the ground. It gets addictive fast, and ending one level makes you want to jump straight into the next one. This is enhanced even further with the presence of the freezer mode introduced in the third level. This is activated with a bar at the bottom of the screen that fills up every time you do something cool. Do enough cool things and Valah gets pumped up, increasing her speed and enhancing her ability. Taking damage instantly ends this more, which creates a sense of tension and challenge. You want to go fast, but going fast increases your chances of bumping into something. Of course, with the game encouraging speed and fluidity at all times, it doesn't take long to get the end of the credits. I think I managed it within about 6 hours, breezing my way to the final showdown with ease. However, the short length is a benefit because the real joy of the game is in the replayability. RKGK is constantly keeping tracks of how fast and stylish you are. Time trials, scoreboards, and rocks and bound, with every level ending with an assessment of your performance. Seeking special time trial challenges and just missing out of the covered S ranks only encourages you to play each level again and again and again and again. RKGK is a game about mystery of movement system, constantly improving with each attempt. You'll be seeking out ways to collect as much of the level's collectibles quickly to boost your score, finding shortcuts to get you the finish line faster, and doing everything in your power to never get hit and keep that defense mode extend multiplier. S ranks are not easy to achieve, but I found myself desperately pushing closer and closer and closer to that goal while having a blast of the whole time. If you are the sort of person who obsessively replays Devil May Cry 3D Sonic games trying to make a big ass slam onto your screen, you'll find a lot to love in RKGK. Sadly, RKGK has some glaring issues that I find hard to ignore. Sadly, its presentation is one of them, which games like this thrive on. Levels are full of nondescript cubes and bland metallic textures. There's a clear design choice here, as the city is supposed to be miserable. As you skate around, graffiti up the place and up the saturation with the defensive mode. It's supposed to be vibrant contrast to show the effects of your actions. It just never quite goes far enough. Sure, there are some flashes of greatness here. Whatever it's the enemy designs or the graffiti bleeds out of every defense screen, but the same are small parts of the wider whole that never fully comes together. There are also momentum such as odd volume issues or some of the flat front choices. It just feels like the placeholder assets were left in. It's hard not to compare it to move it or you face like Hi-Fi Brush or Jet Set Radio and think RKGK looks a lot more subdued, which is one of the worst things a game like this can be. There is also a weird disconnection between the game's main visuals and some of the 2D art kicking around. The occasional motions comics that tells the game story looks amazing. The game can be set by Chibi Valah that writes your style matter in the defensive mode. On the graffiti images that pop when you tag a screen, the 2D artists have done a phenomenal job, and that's haven't translated well into the most 3D assets. Wabisabi has much more cooler hair in the motion comics in the gameplay, for the instance. The soundtrack also feels a bit lacking. All games I mentioned in this review have absurdly couched soundtracks. Jet Set Radio made Hideki Naguma one of my favorite video game composers. Well, mentioning the Hi-Fi Brush had the glorious cafeteria fight such to the Prodigy, Mirror's Edge has arguably the second best theme song called Still Alive in games. By the contrast, I forgot that all of RKGK's Basement Brave soundtracks, and that's a shame. That said, I can forgive most of it. This is the first game for the developers of Wabisabi Games, and this is an impressive piece of work for a debut. There is a clear passion for what team are doing here and there, nailing the gameplay expertly. If you love mastering the movement systems, chasing the styles ranks, or just generally fighting the man or the power of the street art, you'll need to play RKGK. If the visuals use some polish but its fluid platforming mechanics are up there with the best. Well, so you know what? The most interesting thing that you can customize your graffiti, but glitch mean the game choose it's entirely randomly from the full pool. Hopefully this is the fix in the final release. Well, yeah, that's gonna be it. Thank you for watching. And don't forget to comment, write, and subscribe. Yep, peace, pie.